Hello, damsels and knights. I'm Sam Godwin. Welcome to my channel, and we finally arrived at the fourth and final video of this mini-series. Having ranked historical figures nicknamed the Great from antiquity, the Middle Ages, and the modern era, it's now time to crown the greatest man of all time. The top 3 from each time period qualified for this final round. Here are the candidates: Cyrus and Darius of Persia, Alexandros of Macedon, Charlemagne, Justinianus, Otto of Saxony, Gustav Adolf II, Friedrich II of Prussia, and, last but not least, Pyotr I of Russia. Here's how it will work. Every candidate recorded an audio message of a few seconds to convince us why they should be considered as the greatest man of all time. As always, remember that the final ranking is only my personal opinion, so don't take it too seriously. Oh, wait. From the backstage, they tell me that we have a guest from the afterlife that is requesting a video call.
Ave, plebs and patricians.
Constantinus, the first Christian Roman emperor. What an honor. Why did you call us?
I was very offended that you didn't include me in your ranking of the greatest people of antiquity. I mean, it's true that I used to call myself the victorious, but now everyone calls me the great. I boosted the power of Christianity so much that you can't ignore me, and I want to be included in this final ranking.
Well, your exclusion was indeed an error, so I think we can include you in the race for the greatest man of all time. Also, a top 9 is not the same as a top 10, so for me, you are on. But don't expect that I will fall for the propaganda that Christians created around your life. We can now start this video. Let's hear our candidates. We'll go in chronological order.
I am literally the Messiah. Since I was one of the few people in history to do something good for the Jewish people, they gave me this title. I am the only non-Jew to be called the Messiah. I also founded the Achaemenid Empire, also known as the Persian Empire, which was one of the ancient superpowers. Throughout history, many people used me as an example of how a good ruler should be.
I brought the Persian Empire to its greatest territorial extent and to its peak of power and influence. I was the most powerful man of the most powerful empire of my time, and if it wasn't for the loss at Marathon, you would be speaking Persian.
I don't need any promotion. I am literally a god, as well as the greatest military commander of all time. How can I lose if every general in history is my fan?
I was the first Christian emperor, and I granted Christians the freedom to practice their faith. During the Middle Ages, I was considered the greatest Roman emperor ever, since I gave so much power to the Christian institution. I also founded one of the most influential cities of all time, Constantinople.
If Roman law is still in use today, it is thanks to me. Also, if it wasn't for the plague, you would be speaking Latin. I made Rome great again. Or at least I tried.
I am the Middle Ages. I created feudalism and the title of Holy Roman Emperor, beside being the greatest Frankish king. Germany and France were born thanks to the division of my empire, while most royal families can trace their ancestry back to me. I'm also the father of Europe. What else do I have I say? Unlike what many believe, I am the true founder of the Holy Roman Empire. Charlemagne created the title. I created the state. I ruled over Germany, making it the strongest nation of my time, and I stopped the Hungarian raids in Europe.
I am considered the father of modern warfare due to my reforms in the art of war, and I laid the foundations for the Swedish Empire's golden age. I also influenced the 30 Years' War through my battlefield intervention. I was both a great general and a great ruler. If it wasn't for my premature death, Central Europe would be speaking Swedish.
I am the father of modern Russia, having started an important and lengthy process of modernizing Russia in various ways. I defended my land during the Great Northern War and founded the Russian Navy. I was also the first Russian ruler to use the title emperor, as I created the Russian Empire.
I brought the Enlightenment to Prussia, transforming it into a military and cultural power. I reformed various aspects of my kingdom, making it stronger, and I expanded its territory through 3 major wars, always emerging victorious despite many difficulties. I was both a great general and a great ruler.
Now that all the candidates have spoken, it's time for me to think about it and decide on a final ranking. It wasn't easy, since every candidate was a very good ruler, and choosing the best one came down to the details. I decided to judge the candidates based on legacy, warfare experience, skills as a ruler, and overall reign. Also, I took into high consideration the ones who were both good on the battlefield and as a ruler. Let's start. Number 10, Justinianus. Of all the candidates, he had the least successful reign. The plague was surely not his fault, and his legacy is immense and still visible today. However, his dream of making Rome great again came at too high cost to ignore. Number 9, Pyotr Romanov. He was one of the best Russian rulers of all time, and his successful defense of his empire against the Swedish forces is notable, like his incredible process of modernization of his empire. But he was not an impressive general, and his legacy was limited to Russia. Number 8, Constantinus. Our excluded friend has a massive legacy. He was one of the few men who really changed the course of history. He was a good general, and the church is in debt with him for how much power he gave to it. Despite all of this, his reign and ruler skills were good, but not great. Number 7, Otto of Saxony. The founder of the Holy Roman Empire, Otto the Great transformed his German kingdom into an empire that would evolve into the HRE. He conquered northern Italy and defeated the Magyars in 955, stopping their raids forever. He was a solid ruler and general, but his legacy is sadly overshadowed by Charlemagne's and limited to Germany. Number 6, Darius of Persia. He was the man who brought the Persian Empire to its greatest territorial extent and power. For 40 years he ruled over one of the largest empires ever, making many reforms and building projects to make it even more powerful, richer, and stable. If the Battle of Marathon had gone differently, perhaps his name and accomplishments would be better known in Europe. Number 5, Alexandros the Great. He is here because of his immense legacy, his incredible skills as a general, and his aura is too big for him to be in a lower position. But he never ruled properly, since he spent his whole reign conquering the world, and then died before we could see how he would rule and administer a vast empire like his. Considering that he became crazier and more megalomaniac in his later years, I have some doubts on how good of a ruler he would be, so this position is the right one. Number 4, Gustavus Adolphus II. Among the various candidates, he is one of the least famous, but he deserves to be so high on the list. Not only was he a formidable general, he is also known as the father of modern warfare, thanks to his reforms in the art of war. As well as being a good leader of armies, he was also a good leader for his nation, expanding Swedish territory and influence over Europe and starting the Swedish Golden Age thanks to his reforms in various aspects of his kingdom. In my opinion, if you are very good at both being a general and a ruler, you must be high up on the list. Number 3, Friedrich II of Prussia. One of the most iconic rulers of the Enlightenment. If Germany became the powerhouse of Europe in the 19th century, it was thanks to this man. Just like Gustavus Adolphus, he was both a general and a ruler, excelling in both roles. He won wars against multiple coalitions and in difficult situations, which proved his resilience and battlefield skills. He doubled the size of his kingdom and introduced many reforms that made Prussia a very influential and feared state in Europe. As a ruler, he was almost obsessed with controlling every aspect of Prussian society and economy, which testifies to his belief that the king is the first servant of the state. And now we are at the top. 2 rulers who are fighting to be the greatest of all time. Charlemagne, the father of Europe, was the greatest Frankish king and the first Holy Roman Emperor. His legacy shaped the Middle Ages and beyond, as he introduced feudalism, and most royal families can trace their ancestry back to him. His empire eventually gave rise to France and the Holy Roman Empire. He was also a capable commander who conquered lands in Italy, Spain, and Saxony, as well as being a very good ruler who brought the Carolingian Renaissance to his people and transformed a kingdom into the most powerful empire of his time. On the other hand, we have Cyrus, the founder of one of the most powerful ancient superpowers, the Persian or Achaemenid Empire. His legacy was so significant that even the megalomaniac Alexandros the Great admired and respected this Persian king. He was a formidable general, conquering Mesopotamia and Anatolia, and he was a good administrator and a great, tolerant ruler who is still admired today. Also, he died in battle fighting the Amazons, which is simply an epic way to die in my opinion. It's difficult to decide, so let's use these parameters. Who has the greatest legacy? Charlemagne. He is the Middle Ages. Better general? Cyrus literally founded an empire from scratch and also conquered Mesopotamia and Anatolia. Who was the better ruler? Well, this is a close call, but I'll give this one to Cyrus, since he literally created an empire, was a fair and good ruler, and was one of the few people to do something good for the Jews, which is worth remembering. I mean, he is the Messiah after all. So, for me, the greatest man of all time is Cyrus the Great. Thanks for your time, damsels and knights. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next video.